everyone, welcome back. So I finished Beyond the Shadows by Brent Weeks, so I am officially done with the Night Angel trilogy. So overall, probably for this book, it's probably like a 4 out of 5 stars for me. I really did enjoy the series as a whole, but I do have some complaints about probably the writing and maybe a little bit of the story. But overall, this book wrapped everything up very nicely. All the storylines were concluded. Everything was brought together really well. The characters were all together. It was a satisfying conclusion. It's probably not the conclusion I would have picked to bring about that same type of conclusion. I probably would have done it a little bit differently, but I still think it did it really well. And the story ended in such a way that it could either be the complete end or there could be, more into this world. And I'm glad that Brent Weeks has decided to continue with this world. I'm actually really happy because we got Nemesis and I'm finally going to be starting that now. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do with this world. So this book picks up right where book 2 leaves off, which is great because you don't have any time gap. You also didn't with the second book either. Like these books just all flow together, which, I mean, honestly, if you wanted to read them all like this, just in like a big book, you probably could and almost just look at it as one book. But this is not easy to carry around. So I understand, them being broken up into 3 books, but they all just flow and they all continue in one, big story arc, which is very helpful. But yeah, so this just picks right up where 2 left off, which 2 left off with the God King being killed. Kyler and Vi are now bonded in a way that neither of them intended or wanted. The goal of killing the God King is now completed, but there's still some threats to Scenaria. And one of these threats that still need resolved is now that Tara Grayson, I think it's Grayson, okay, has made sure that she has remained Queen of Scenaria, which is a big problem. Because now we have Logan who's involved, he's alive, everyone loves him, he is the rightful king to Scenaria, but Tara is not wanting to give that up. And Kyler knows that Logan needs to be king and he should be king, so he's going to probably take it on to himself to eliminate the threat of Tara, which is a pretty cool scene. So, but there's multiple storylines going throughout this book. As you probably noticed with book 2, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of characters. You have them all over the place, and book 3 continues with that. So you have, I don't believe this is going to be a spoiler or anything, but I'm going to go a little bit into the storylines of each of the characters. So right now, in this book, Dorian is back in Calhador and has found himself unintentionally being the next God King. And he is with Janine. She is there with him. They get married in there. But she is not aware that Logan is still alive. So I don't know how that works, but it works. And Solon has also returned home, and he is earning the title of Storm Rider. Really cool storyline. I wish there was more of Solon and Fear, I think that's how his name is going to be. It's like Fear Cosat or something. But he has the task of making a duplicate sword of Courage. I'm so sorry with these words. But he's making this duplicate sword for Lantano. I'm going to keep butchering these. But if you've read this book, you probably know which characters I'm talking about. Vi is learning at the Chantry. And she's mainly her goal is being this awkward third wheel between Kyler and Aline, which is it's just horrible. And now we also know in book 2 that Durzo is officially back, and Durzo is being Durzo. You really love his character in this one, at least I do. You get so much more of him, you get more of his backstory, some more explanation about him. And he's really cool in this one. I like him being back. And Logan is trying to keep Scenaria together while also trying to bring back Janine because he finds out that she's alive, whereas she does not know that he is alive. But the main problem in this book is that Nephdata is trying to raise an army of Cruel Titans and the goddess Kali. I'm so sorry again. But he was doing this because he just wants to rule, essentially destroy everything. He wants to be in power. He wants to live forever. Classic bad guy motives. And then there's also these like strangers, which they're like this other world kind of being, but they inhibit corpses of human sacrifices, and they just hate everything. They just love suffering, and they just want to kill. That's pretty much their goal. It's a weird. They're not in there like too much, but you get a little bit of a reference to them. But essentially, the evil forces is just all these, intensely evil otherworldly beings. That's like the main goal in this book is to defeat that. But after Logan is king, which that's not a spoiler because that is on the back of the book. But Logan being king doesn't happen until maybe about halfway through the book. So I don't really know why the back of the book gives that, but since it does, I'm not gonna feel bad about saying it. But Kyler and Durzo then meet up, and they're both heading over to the Chantry because Kyler is looking for Eileen, and Durzo is looking for Yuli, which Yuli's not really in this book very much. She's kind of, you just get a reference to her name, and that's pretty much it. But you do get plenty of whiny scenes between Kyler, Elaine, and Vi. There's a lot of, I should have counted how many times, but these references being made, but sobbing, crying, tears streaming down their face. Like, I have a hard time believing these characters whenever they're having like a dialogue, they have tears streaming down their face or they're sobbing. I mean, I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure Vi, that's all she does. It's like, weren't you like this, wet boy? Like, what? Why are you crying all the time? It's like, it gets a little irritating. Like, just say, like maybe they, looked sorrowful or something. I don't know, but like, why sobbing? Like, okay. But that's a side note, a side complaint. But like, without going into any more spoilers, I will say this book does wrap up everything very nicely. I really enjoy the characters. I wish there would have been so much more of just, I feel like this book could have really just been about like Dorian, Solon, and Fier. I don't know why. I love that trio. I think it's because like they started off together. They each have their own arcs that they're doing, and they each become like their own greatness kind of. I don't know. They're really cool. But I also love, obviously, Durzo and Kyler as Night Angel. The Night Angel character itself is amazing. I love that. And it's like, it's just such a cool character where it's like, this, like he can essentially put on like this black outfit kind of costume of this Kakari, and his eyes can be like smoking that blue or that red, and he just can essentially see the crimes of the person that he's looking at and dispense justice. And it's just really cool. I don't know. I really like that. It's a really cool idea. So, I mean, the character of Night Angel itself, it just really makes this series unique, I think. And I love that. I really do like that. It's such a fun book to read. Overall, I would probably rate this series maybe, an 8 out of 10. I do have, some of the complaints that I've been going throughout my reviews. But like I said, I love the Night Angel character. I love a lot of the characters. The story that is given, it's just really fun and enjoyable to read. It's better than any movie. I mean, well, not any movie, but it's better than just sitting there and watching a movie or a TV show. And so it's like, I enjoy it. It's fun to me. So I would definitely recommend, picking this up and trying it out. Keep in mind that, there are some things that can be, taking us some complaints, but it's just a fun story to read overall. I really do like it. I highly recommend it. But like I said, it's better to probably think of it as just one big book. I think that helps a lot because book one, you're getting into Kyler finally, getting trained up to be this wet boy who eventually at the end, obtains that Kakari and makes him the Night Angel now. He is now taking on that mantle. Book two, he decides to take that mantle off and join Eileen for a while. But that's only the beginning of the book. He then, realizes he has to kill this God King in Scenaria and save Scenaria in that instance. And then book three, you have the fate of the world, resting on all these otherworldly beings trying to take over everything. And this is where he really becomes the Night Angel. You know, and you get all the other characters working with him as well. So like I said, overall, it's better to look at the series as a whole. I really did enjoy this. This is one that, you know, I'll probably continue to reread over time. I really do like it. And if you haven't tried it, I definitely recommend trying it out. So now that I've gone through talking about the book itself, just kind of giving you a little bit overall without any spoilers, and I did a little bit of overview of the series as a whole, I do want to go into some spoilers on book 3. So if you haven't read it and you just don't want to listen to spoilers, you know, I hope you have a good rest of the day. You could check out now if you want. But if you want to listen to spoilers, or you have read it and you just want to see, you know, what I thought of some certain scenes, stick around. But I'm going to go into spoilers now. So final warning. So I'm going to start off with a scene that I hated, which obviously you're going to probably guess it's Kyler and Eileen. I hate pretty much every scene of them together. I can't stand Eileen. I don't know why it is. I don't like her so much. I just don't. I really don't. I didn't like her from the very beginning. I don't know what it is about her. I guess I don't see anything special. I think she's really whiny. You know, she doesn't, in my opinion, like Kyler for who he is. You know, she just wants him to be something that he's not. And I think he looks at Eileen just for, this, I think he has this idea of her and doesn't realize that she's really not that great. But he stalked her for like 17 years. So it's like, you can't tell me you know anything about her. I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know why she's really in there much. I don't know. I just really don't like them. But the awkward third wheel scenes of Vi with Kyler and Eileen is just so weird. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. And then it's like, so the book makes Eileen out to be like this altruistic, like, oh, you're just, you know, so amazing for forgiving Vi for what she did by, you know, putting the earring in Kyler. You're like, you're so great. You didn't want to kill her or seek vengeance. But then it's like, she's marrying Kyler, Eileen is, knowing how much it physically and emotionally hurts Vi. And Vi is like sacrificing her mental state for months just so they can do the hanky-panky for a while. I'm sorry. It's like, Eileen's not that great. Like, she's very selfish too. So I don't know. It bothers me. Yeah, so another scene that I loved was just Durzo and Kyler being together. Those were a lot of great scenes. Like I said earlier, you know, Durzo is just an awesome character. He continues to help Kyler unexpectedly. You know, he almost makes it seem like he's gonna, you know, betray Kyler, but in reality, then he comes back and it's like, hey, I went and did this for you. So an instance of that is when he knocks Kyler out, steals his Kakari, essentially, he steals the Kakari and then knocks him out, and he goes and retrieves courage from Ezra's wood and gives it all to Kyler. I mean, that was really cool, and it was unexpected. Because, you know, Durzo, you kind of expect him to not care about Kyler as much, but you find out, you know, he really does. He really cares about Kyler. So, he helps him get retribution back, and then he gets him courage, and then he saves him later from the Titan. He just continues to be awesome. And it's like, and now he only has this one life. He's not immortal anymore, but he still continues to be involved and help Kyler. And it's just really cool what he does. And then you also learn about some additional magical abilities that he has learned over time that Kyler still has a lot to learn. And as awesome as Kyler is, he is going to be even cooler later on if he can learn all this stuff. Which gives you a little bit of a taste of what might happen maybe in Nemesis, hopefully. So I'm excited about that. I also enjoyed the scene of Kyler killing Tara Grayson. That was fun. I liked that. It was pretty brutal. But it was fun. Like I said, I liked that one. And then I also liked when Logan then had Kyler executed for killing Tara. That was interesting. I know that sounds really dark, but it really shaped the characters, in my opinion, Logan and Kyler both. And also Vi in that instance. Because, she was, knowing what Kyler was going through, and she was continuing to try to help him. Which, again, that goes back to what makes Aline so great. But anyways, that's on a side note. But I liked that moment because I really felt like the characters were shaped. And then, as I mentioned earlier too, I just really liked the Dorian and Solon and Fear scenes. I feel like the books should have had more about them. Whereas I know Dorian kind of turned into more of his father, which wasn't a good thing. He also has such a wide character arc, and it was really interesting to watch him, essentially like do this. He's really good, then he's bad, then he's good, and then he's bad. And so, it was fun to watch that. And then, him just going completely mad at the end was interesting in itself. Solon, he just seems awesome. I wish there was more of him. You don't really get a whole lot of chapters, and he just seems really, really cool. But yeah, and then just Kyler in general being the Night Angel and being his awesome self. I loved all the scenes with, the Night Angel coming out and, dispensing justice. Really, really good scenes. But overall, I enjoyed the series. I'm glad I reread it. I'm glad to, be starting Nemesis. I will say I have started the first probably 2 or 3 chapters of Nemesis. And I'm a little wary because it's now more of like in the first person, and it's written more of a journalistic kind of style. Lot different than these books in its writing. And I'm a little curious how that's going to work. I don't want to say anything too much more because I don't know, if maybe it'll work for this story. But I'm a little hesitant because it feels such a jarring difference. Because I finished this one last night. I started Nemesis this morning. So it's like I've not really had much of a break between the books. And to see it switch so aggressively between the way, like the point of views of the way it's written is, like I said, it's a little jarring. So I'm curious to see how that's going to fit. Because right now it's almost feeling like a different kind of Kyler and a different story. I don't know if I should look at it that way or not, if that's what the author's intending. But like I said, I'll have to read more to find out. But it's just a little bit of a warning that it might be a little unexpected if you're just jumping in from this series to the other. If you've had a break between the series, you may not really notice it as much. Obviously you'll notice, this is first person, but it may not feel so different, but where I've just, like I said, jumped from one to the other, it definitely feels extremely different to me. And I don't know how I'm gonna like it or not, if I like it better or not, I don't know, but when I finish, I'll be sure to tell you. And like I said earlier, for those that may have already tuned out, didn't want the spoilers, I hope you have a good rest of the weekend, and thanks for listening.